underground Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, Georgia. It's where they really auction off and sold slaves. Right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Down here at underground Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia. Can you imagine that really happened in America? Auction off slaves. We are talking about tearing down our history. You know, we were shackled. They had changes around our wrists and around our ankles. We were shackled right here downtown Atlanta, underground Atlanta. Can you imagine at one time that they had slaves out here, auctioning off slaves, had them shackled by their ankles and by their wrists. We're downtown Atlanta, 2016. This where they actually really sold slaves, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. And we want to build United States Black White House and for the people, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. We can't forget. We can never forget our past. Negroes, black man, African American, sold here at underground Atlanta, where they sold slaves. They were shackled. Our mothers and our daughters, they didn't have bras out then. They showed their breasts. And they had a towel, a rag tied around their waist. Right here in Atlanta, Georgia. The South, this is where they had a big fire. The city burnt down. Right here in Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia. Can you imagine what really happened down here? In America, in the South, underground Atlanta, where they sold slaves at. They had a tunnel down here where Negroes was shackled, had changes around their neck, and around their ankles, and around their waists. Underground Atlanta. We want to build a United States Black White House and for the people, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Can you imagine our ancestors were shackled here and were sold for slaves with no pay? They worked with no pay. They didn't even get paid. Isn't that something? What you call African American people, black people, Negroes, descendants of Africa, you were sold here, slaves. We must never forget our past. and where we come from. A tunnel up under here, underground Atlanta, where they actually really sold slaves. Right here in Atlanta, Georgia, downtown. You can look over to the right, you'll see the state capitol building where they sold slaves. That building has a gold dome on it. We don't know how many people that's really homeless in this city. Everybody should have the opportunity to work and have a job in this country. Underground Atlanta, where they sold slaves at. These people many of them was just killed brutally, hurt, beaten with whips. The mothers and daughters were raped. Right here at underground Atlanta, Georgia. Negroes was hung. Our mothers and our daughters was raped. Chained, shackled. Right at underground Atlanta. We're going up the steps where all this happened. Right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Black people, Negroes, were sold, slaves, were shackled, and didn't get paid. They did free labor. Free labor. Let's put all out here. People worked hard. Men have worked sun up to sundown. Right here on Pryor Street. 1926, 1929. Downtown Atlanta. Sold for slaves. Look at the American flags right over there. Supposed to be justice for all. Right here in Atlanta, Georgia. I believe that Negroes, African Americans, need a restitution. They gave Germany, and they gave Indians. But what about African American, Negroes? Atlanta, Georgia. Can you believe it? That this really happened in Atlanta, Georgia. African American, descendants of Africa, sold, slave, gave free labor in this city. This really happened right here in Atlanta, Georgia. God bless America. God bless America.